For exception handling, you are going to be uh, doing a couple different programs. The first one is an addition program, and this is going to be fairly similar to the division example. You'll create a little add function that basically adds two numbers together. And how I set mine up is I have input. Please enter the first number and the second number. You can kind of see the prompts, and I convert them into integers. Okay, and those are in the try section. Because what this is supposed to do is check if they enter text instead of numbers. Okay, so I have both inputs for number 1 and number 2 in the try block. Right below that, I have an except value error. So this is the exception that you need to look for. So it's except value error. And basically, I'm just telling them that they need to enter numbers instead of text and they should try again. And then I have a continue statement so that they will go back to the top of my while loop. Below that, I have another kind of a generic except block that just basically says, hey, there was a problem, with the numbers you entered, please try again. And I also include a continue so that it goes to the top of the while loop. Then I have an else block where I basically print out number 1 and number 2 and the results of my add function where I pass number 1 and 2 and it retrieves the result. And then at the bottom of the while loop, I ask them if they want to do it again, cue to quit. So that's the kind of processing that I have, and you can kind of see the output here from that. Okay, so that's the first one, and it is similar to the processing here for division, but instead, of zero division error and random numbers, we are actually having them input numbers, and we're checking for a value error. The second one, what I'm going to have you do is copy this word count file from the book, and you can see that there's exception handling in here. So copy this file, and then you are going to find your own excerpts from books. So these file names are not going to work for you. You need to find 3 of your own. And if you want to use the resource that they mention somewhere in here, here it is, you can use the resource. Otherwise, if you have poems or other things you want to use, fine. It does not matter to me. I actually like poems, so I chose 3 and created the text files and put them in my chapter 10 folder. So those are my file names that I'm going to check. So after you get your own files with your own file names, you do want to run the program to make sure it still works. Okay. Then you can add in the requirements from Try It Yourself 1010. So Try It Yourself 1010 basically wants you to use the count method to find out how many times a word or a phrase appears in a string. Okay, so that's kind of what you're being tasked with here. So to accomplish this, you're going to create a new function named find words. So keep the count words function in there. Below that, you're going to create one called find words. Okay, the function should accept the file name and a search word as parameters. Um, the try and accept processing you need for this is identical to count words. Okay, in fact, you could probably copy count words and rename it and add a search parameter after file name and obviously change the description, okay, because they are very similar. The else processing needs to convert the contents to lowercase, convert the search word to lowercase, count the number of times the search word appears in the contents. And so you're going to need something similar to this. So contents is what got retrieved from the file. Dot count, search is the search word. And you're storing the results. Okay, and then after you get how many times that word appears, you can print out a little phrase that just tells people, hey, that word occurred 20 times in chapter 10, road not taken. Okay, so that's what the function needs to do. Then in your main program, below the for loop that is calling count words, so below this, okay, then you need to prompt the user for a common word they want to search for in the text files. So a common word being the word the, or the word an, or the word at. Okay, and then create a new for loop that calls find word function and passes it the file name along with the search word. So here is my example of what I have below this loop. Okay, and here's an example of my output.